the finding of DeMartravion Reed on the Delta State University campus, HBCU, located in Mississippi, is definitely something that is just a widening of a path that we have already known that we've been on. There have been countless black men popping up, appearing from different southern states that have had history of lynchings, of discrimination, that have been popping up from North Carolina to Texas, and now it's Mississippi, of black men being found lynched. Now this one is on a campus, a college campus, of a young black guy, where there was reports of a group of white men riding around in a truck calling him a monkey. Now that his body has been discovered with broken bones, the autopsy and the police theory in that county is now determining that this is something no more than that this is consistent with no foul play. So how can you physically break your own bones and then be able to hang yourself from a tree? It is physically impossible to do that. Okay? I mean, even just repeating that out loud doesn't make any sense. However, we now know that this is a system that is working within a system that is covering another type of group that is going out here, and they are inflicting harm, they are inflicting fear, and they are trying to repeat the same behaviors that their own ancestors put on black people. Mississippi, for the longest time, of the states in the union that has the highest number of lynchings, especially during the Jim Crow era following the Civil War. The state had the highest number of lynchings and the highest per capita rate in the nation between 1877 and 1950. And now they're just returning back to their roots. Roots of racism, roots of division, roots of fear, roots of terror, all because of a person's skin color, all because the melanin in their skin. Now, how strange is this that threats have been made to HBCU campuses, especially Hampton campus, Hampton University, okay? The other day, days after Charlie Kirk's shooting by a white MAGA supporter. How is it that they can now go out and terrorize black colleges and universities when black people had absolutely nothing to do with Charlie Kirk's murder? Absolutely nothing to do with it. And this is where I question Candace Owens, Officer Tatum. Where are y'all at in this type of behavior with your people over there since you're off the plantation in the Republican Party? I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm not independent. I'm common sense. But how can black people that support individuals in the MAGA arena, Candace Owens got on her podcast the other day and talked so highly about Charlie Kirk. That's her brother. That's her this. Well, now his brothers are going after your brothers who are completely innocent. And I hope we hear something from her. I hope that she stands on business and voices her opinion about this murder of this young man. Black young men dying, when this failure decided to load up his vehicle and drive all the way to Utah University to kill. Travel all the way to Utah University, where Charlie Kirk was presenting his new rollout for his new campaign for Turning Point USA. He's the one who decided to come and to take that man's life, not a black person. And in fact, he came to one of the most whitest universities probably in their state. The breakdown of University of Utah demographics is white 61.3%, Hispanic or Latino 12.7%, Asian 7.12%, 2 or more races 5.25%. You know how many black people are on the University of Utah campus? Do you want to know how many on there? 1.36. That's how many. So how does this in any way have anything to do with the black community? That's the question. That is the question. And now the coroner addressing discussion of broken bones and saying that the Bolivar County Coroner Office released a statement late on Monday, September 15th, in response to the death of Damar Travion Trey Reed, who officials said committed suicide on the Cleveland campus of Delta State University earlier that day. The Delta State University president, Dan Annis, said that despite the details of a hanging of a 21-year-old black man in the Mississippi Delta, there's no evidence of foul play involved. Now, the Bolivar County Coroner's Office had not returned calls to the Clarion Ledger earlier Monday. This is a news outlet that followed up with this statement that they're now closing this case out to be one that was just suicide. They wanted to confirm, is this true? They still have not even returned a message back to their media outlet. And that's because the bigger and bigger this grows, the more they're going to have to account for what happened. See, I don't know what they thought was going to happen in this era of internet, social media, data being able to be accessed in a moment's time. But this is going to be bigger than what their small county is. So, of course, the world is now looking at their city in Mississippi. The world is now looking at this university, and the world most importantly is looking at the death of this young man in the prime of his life. So how is it that this young man has to pay the price for the failure of another white man taking out someone in his own racial community? Tyler Robinson was a failure within his own community. And in fact, he was a failure in a community that held the majority. He was a MAGA supporter. He voted for Donald Trump. His family supported Donald Trump. So that means that they are the majority of the majority. And you still failed in life. And he took his anger, his frustration about his hidden lifestyle as a MAGA supporter, because he knew that he would not be accepted within his own family dynamics and how they look at sexuality and politics and religion. And so he took his frustration out on someone he felt was one of the main supporters and people that live alternative lifestyles like LGBTQ. In his mind, Charlie Kirk was keeping him from living his lifestyle, not him taking account for himself, his own manhood. But yet and still, what does that have to do with Black American people and this terror that we're now seeing on these HBCU campuses, having to go in lockdown? And I'll even push back. I remember when Trump was first elected and how all of these messages came to HBCU campuses trying to threaten black students that they should be prepared to be picked up and to report to plantation A, plantation B, and that there was going to be a van that comes and picks you up. See, they've been doing this for a while now. And a strong, educated mind in a black person, it is a threat to their own ideology. But our superpower is to be an educated person with ethics. See, that is like a superpower. You're like a superhero. And especially being of black descent. Don't be black and smart with ethics. Oh, see, that's something that they can't work against. Their ideology doesn't measure up. It doesn't add up to everyone else. See, they don't get global support or racism when you go against someone who is smart, black, with ethics. Oh my gosh. That just destroys their whole entire archetype that supports why black people are this and why black people are that, and they're not worthy of, and they're troublemakers, and we're fatigued of them. See, all of that, it just crumbles down. Thing that Vice President Kamala Harris stated in that debate against Donald Trump, everything she said would come to pass if they elected Donald Trump has came to pass, because she was smart and she was a dignified woman. And this is not over, because everything that's done in the dark is going to come to the light. Everything that has been done in the dark against black Americans in this country, and with them now targeting our, see, black with ethics and intelligence. See, HBCUs are the hub station of producing black intelligence with ethics. That is the hub. That is the factory of smart black and intelligence with ethics. And so that's why they're targeting HBCUs. It is where their failure and their outing of their failure and their display of their failure, it is to come and to bring violence onto establishments that have been proven to be successful. This is how they act out. The same hereditary and same traits and behaviors that their ancestors did, that's what they're acting out now. And this is nothing but you're seeing failure at its maximum. Let me know what you think. Please like, share, and subscribe.